Emma Collins had always wanted a quiet place to live. After months of searching, she finally found a small apartment in an old brick building on the edge of the city. It wasn't luxurious, but it was affordable, clean, and surprisingly peaceful. The building had only 9 floors, and apartment 9B sat at the very top. The real estate listing proudly described it as the highest apartment in the building. That was exactly what Emma wanted. No noisy neighbors above her. No footsteps late at night. No one dragging furniture across the ceiling while she tried to sleep. The building itself had a strange history. Built in the early 1960s, it had survived earthquakes, storms, and decades of neglect. Despite its age, everything seemed well maintained. The lobby smelled of fresh paint, the elevators worked perfectly, and the hallways were spotless. The landlord, Mr. Harris, was an elderly man with tired eyes and a polite smile. He handed Emma the keys and walked her through the apartment. Everything looked normal. 1 bedroom, a small kitchen, a balcony overlooking the city skyline. Just as Emma was about to sign the final paperwork, Mr. Harris hesitated. "There is only one rule," he said quietly. Emma laughed. "No loud music." He didn't smile. "If you hear footsteps above your apartment, don't complain." Emma frowned. "There isn't an apartment above me." "I know." "Then whose footsteps?" Mr. Harris looked away. "You'll understand." Before Emma could ask another question, he left. The first day passed without incident. Emma unpacked boxes, arranged furniture, and enjoyed the silence she had been searching for. That evening she met a few neighbors. Everyone seemed friendly. But whenever she mentioned Mr. Harris's strange warning, the conversations ended almost immediately. People changed the subject. One woman even walked away without saying goodbye. Emma convinced herself it was simply an old building with creaky pipes. Nothing more. At exactly 2:44 a.m., she woke suddenly. Someone was walking above her. Slow, heavy, measured footsteps crossed the ceiling from one end of the apartment to the other. Emma sat upright. Her heart raced. Impossible. She lived on the top floor. The footsteps stopped. Silence returned. Then, 3 slow knocks echoed directly above her bedroom. Knock, knock, knock. Emma grabbed her phone and opened the building's emergency floor plan that had been emailed to every resident. It clearly showed 9 floors. Apartment 9B was the highest room in the building. There was nothing above it except the roof. She walked onto the balcony. The rooftop was completely empty. No maintenance workers. No animals. No one. As she stepped back inside, her phone buzzed. It was a text message from an unknown number. It contained only one sentence. "Please stop looking up." Emma stared at the screen in disbelief. She hadn't told anyone about the footsteps. She hadn't spoken to anyone since moving in. Then, the footsteps started again. This time, they weren't above her anymore. They were slowly walking toward her bedroom door. Emma backed away from the bedroom door as the footsteps stopped just outside. Silence filled the apartment. Then, 3 slow knocks echoed through the wood. Knock, knock, knock. She held her breath. The doorknob didn't move. No shadow appeared beneath the door. After several long seconds, the knocking stopped. Gathering her courage, Emma slowly opened the door. The hallway outside was empty. Every apartment door was closed. The elevator stood exactly where it had been all evening. No one. As she stepped into the hallway, something caught her attention. A thin trail of gray ash stretched across the floor. It ended directly in front of the emergency staircase. Emma followed it upstairs. The stairs should have ended on the 9th floor. Instead, she found another flight leading higher. Confused, she climbed. The walls became older. The fresh paint disappeared. The lights flickered. Finally, she reached a rusted metal door marked only with one faded letter, A. It wasn't on any building plan. The handle was warm. Very slowly, Emma pushed the door open. Beyond it was a dark hallway covered in dust. The air smelled like smoke. Burned wallpaper peeled from the walls. Apartment doors lined both sides of the corridor. Every mailbox still had names on it. It looked as though people had simply vanished. At the end of the hallway stood a little girl holding a teddy bear. She quietly pointed toward apartment 9B. Then she whispered, "They're still inside." Before Emma could answer, the lights went out. When they came back on, the hallway was empty. Only the sound of footsteps echoed behind her. Running toward the stairs, Emma raced down the stairs and slammed the metal door behind her. When she reached the 9th floor, everything looked normal again. The extra staircase was gone. There was only a solid concrete wall where it had been. The next morning, she confronted Mr. Harris. Without saying a word, he unlocked an old filing cabinet and handed her a faded newspaper. The headline read, "Fire Destroys Secret 10th Floor, 47 Missing." The article explained that 30 years earlier, a massive fire had destroyed an illegal 10th floor that had been secretly added during construction. The owners covered it up to avoid bankruptcy. Officially, the 10th floor had never existed. None of the missing residents were ever found. Mr. Harris looked at Emma with tears in his eyes. They still think they're waiting to be rescued. That night, Emma packed her belongings and left before sunset. As her taxi pulled away, she looked back at the building. For a brief moment, she saw lights glowing on a floor that shouldn't have existed. People stood silently at the windows, watching. Among them was the little girl with the teddy bear. She slowly raised one hand and waved goodbye. The next morning, demolition crews arrived to tear the building down. But when engineers counted the floors one last time, they found 10, not 9. No one could explain where the extra floor had come from.